Tonight, we debate 8 90s Tom Hanks films. Good evening, debate fans. Welcome back to another episode of Debate 8. We got America's, I was going to say America's sweetheart, but we got America's, I don't know, at this point, grandfather? We got Tom Hanks. We're doing Tom Hanks tonight. One of the greatest actors of our generation. The man has been in the industry for, 40 years? I don't know. It's so long. We literally could do endless debates on Tom Hanks movies. But tonight we are doing 90s Tom Hanks film, and we have a great bracket tonight. 8 stellar films that we will get to in a minute, but we have 2 panelists who are back on the show, returning guests. Let's get to it. Let's introduce. Now I'm going to introduce one at a time now. I've sort of changed that a little bit so that everyone's not talking over each other, but let's get our first guest in. We have Ryan from Nerdy Blurb TV. Ryan, welcome back to the debate. How are you?
I'm stoked. Tom Hanks, my man. I'm ready for this. I've been boning up. I'm pretty disappointed Joe versus the Volcano is not here today.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure we can do without. I'm ready for this. Let's buckle up.
Yeah. And Joe versus the Volcano, probably 8 or number 9 or 10. It was a close call. Didn't quite make the list though. All right, let's bring in our second guest. He's been here before, especially recently. Jay Wolin is here. Jay, welcome back to the debate. How are you, my man?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm
Go
pretty
away,
good.
Bugs.
Yeah. All right, so we got Jay, we got Ryan. Let's start with you, Jay. Tom Hanks. Just overall general feel about Tom Hanks. What do you think about the man and his career?
So I think overall you can't go wrong. Again, when you look at somebody like Tom Hanks, there maybe are, if they say there are no bad Tom Hanks performances, only bad Tom Hanks movies.
Right.
And that, again, really just speaks to, maybe some bad directorial choices or whatever. But for the most part, you can't go wrong. He just lays it out on the line every time, all day, every day. And so I think no matter whatever film ends up winning, I think as an audience, we really win more than anything else tonight.
Yeah, I agree. And there's even some 6, 7, 8 films on here that I might be championing for. Ryan, how do you feel about Tom Hanks and his career?
Tom Hanks and his career. Well, how long is your show?
Yeah.
Seattle quote, because that's one of the greatest of all time. That's what we're going to be debating here. I grew up on that show. I grew up with Tom Hanks. He is my dad, other than the fact that I have a really great dad and parents, but he picked up any of the slack that could have been. I love the man. Yeah. Great. Good time. Let's do this. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's jump into it. Here is our bracket for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. If honestly though, if you're not subscribed on the channel yet, do it, because on Fridays we do a bracket reveal. So those who watch the bracket reveal on Friday already know what the bracket is, but let's review it for those who missed the bracket reveal show. The number 1 seed, Saving Private Ryan, will be going up against the number 8 seed of You've Got Mail. The number 4 seed, The Green Mile, going up against the number 5 seed, Philadelphia. The number 3 seed, Forrest Gump, going up against the number 6 seed, A League of Their Own. And of course, the number 2 seed, Apollo 13, going up against the number 7 seed, Sleepless in Seattle. All right, our first matchup, Saving Private Ryan, number 1 seed. You've Got Mail, number 8 seed. I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock. Ryan, we're going to start with you. How do you feel about this matchup?
Because Meg Ryan looks really great in this movie, and nobody looks good in Saving Private Ryan. Nobody, not even Vin Diesel. So, something to look at in Saving Private Ryan. My favorite movie of all time, top 5. So a little bias. Is it going to be You've Got Mail? I don't know. Private Ryan. But I will say that I recently watched You Got Mail. When I say recently, I mean like months ago. I haven't turned my TV on in freaking over a month.
Right.
Solid, modern takes of a Shakespearean comedy and tragedy at the same time. When it comes to romantic comedies, I put it up there at the top, almost at the very top, right underneath. So it's tough, but it's a little unfair. Saving Private Ryan all the way, and I feel like that's going to go all across the board here tonight. I'm fine with that. Even though I think the Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail, but I'm not. You are the.
Yeah. I echo your statements right there. I think it's going to be real tough for You Got Mail, even though I have some very strong opinions about that movie. But let's get Jay's opinion first. Jay, I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock for you. How do you feel about this matchup, Saving Private Ryan and You've Got Mail?
So for me, you can't go wrong with a Tom Hanks movie, and that definitely is the case here. But I'm going to have to go probably with the underdog, honestly. When you look at the two Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks films that made this list, and deservedly so, I actually think You Got Mail is the better of the two. I almost, in some ways, think that Sleepless in Seattle was almost the first draft of what You Got Mail ended up being. So I'm a big fan of that movie, probably a bit more so than others. I'm going to be real honest here, that sequence in the end where the dog runs over, into the frame in the park, and we see Tom come over the horizon. I guess I won't get too into it for anyone who hasn't quite seen the film. It'd be a big spoiler, but
spoiler alert.
It brings me to tears every time, and it just crushes my soul. It did a couple days ago when I sat and rewatched this. And I can't say the same for Saving Private Ryan. It's a movie that, I don't know, it just doesn't speak to me. That first sequence on the beach is incredible. It's hard to go wrong there. And again, I think Tom Hanks is wonderful. Matt Damon, excellent. Vin Diesel, until he gets shot, awesome. Gotta love him as well. But I don't know, it just doesn't work for me the way some other war films do. So I'm going to go to underdog here. I'm going to go with the 8th seed. I think that out of these two was probably the one I prefer.
Wow. Okay. That's some big talk right there. Look, let me put up the poll. I'm very curious to see if anyone else I'll put up the poll and then I'll give my opinion. For those who are new here, what we do is we vote live here in the chat. If you want to vote for Saving Private Ryan to move on, do !vote1 in the chat. There is a space between the word vote and the number. You can check out everyone else doing it in the chat right now because they're here. They're here every week. So do it just like they do. Streamlabs will tell you if you did it correctly. If you want to vote for You've Got Mail, do !vote 8. And I got to say, it's a trifecta up here on the love for You've Got Mail. Honestly, I absolutely adore and love You've Got Mail. I think it's hands down one of my favorite romantic comedies of all time. It still holds up today. I know some of the graphics with AOL doesn't kind of hold up, but it's one of the greatest romantic comedies of all time. I love it, but not enough to go against Saving Private Ryan, which might very well be in the top 10 of films that I've ever seen, let alone a Tom Hanks film and a Steven Spielberg film to boot. So that's where I'm going. I'm going Saving Private Ryan, and I'll be honest, I am shocked right now that You've Got Mail.
You know what? I'm not, though. I'm not. Because on your show, whenever I'm on here, we got trolls. And that's who's showing up here tonight. They're doing it to see what I'm going to do. And guess what? I'm going to be cool, calm, and collected.
I don't think we've ever seen this. Look out for me
in the middle of the night, you trolls.
Oh my goodness. A major upset. I might have to shut down the stream and start all over. You've Got Mail.
Listen,
the number.
You can't get upset just because nobody likes this in Braveheart the way you do, okay?
That's true. No. Look, I'm extremely happy. Look, do I think that everyone in the chat got this wrong? Yes, I think absolutely. Saving Private Ryan should have went on. I'm gonna have to, everything is just totally upended right now. But that being said, I love You've Got Mail. So I don't like personally, like deep down in my heart, I don't have like two. Oh my God, I can't, this is unbelievable. Jay, I think you won people over. Oh my. Okay. All right. So
I feel like people made up their minds before Jay spoke.
I mean,
I'm
it's
looking
true.
at y'all.
Okay. You've Got Mail. Hold on. I gotta put this in the bracket.
Well, this is the real thing. The next one that comes up, the next challenge, right? The next matchup, you gotta talk crap on the movie you want to win, and that way it'll move forward. We can test this theory. Let's see if
I did. And Joe versus the Volcano ain't here.
It's Trinity in the chat said, how is it an upset if a majority voted for it? Because it's the number 8 seed. That's why. Saving Private Ryan is generally regarded as one of the best war movies, Tom Hanks movies, Steven Spielberg movies. It's considered super high. So look, maybe it shouldn't have, it's arguably that maybe it shouldn't have been a 1 seed at this point, but like it's still a highly regarded movie. Oh, okay. So
I think it really just means we get to be annoyed and frustrated with the selection committee, just like we do in March Madness, those seeds that around the bubble that everybody can disagree on.
That's true.
That's really what I'm getting at here. And again, I brought it up last Wednesday or Thursday. One of my favorite Tom Hanks movies didn't even make this game, and I'm a little upset and frustrated about that. But that's okay.
Hey, it's okay. I have a reply to that, and I saw Trinity in the chat said, "You seeded the films, not us." Look, when we get through the first round, I have an announcement to make as far as getting people involved in the seating, so stay tuned to that, because I'm telling you, I'm tired of getting yelled at by people about the seating. So I'm going to start including people, and I'm going to explain how after the first round. Okay, let's move on to the second round, or second matchup of the first round, which I literally have no idea how the rest of the show is going to go. I thought I did. I really don't anymore. Now we're going to go.
I have an idea.
Yeah, possibly. The number 4 seed, Green Mile, going up against the number 5 seed, Philadelphia. I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock. Jay, we'll start with you on this one. How do you feel about this matchup?
So this is a great matchup. I think that when you look at these two movies in particular, they're two of his more maybe dramatic films of this collection. And in either case, I think his performances, again, are just strong across the board. When you look at a movie like Philadelphia and what Denzel brings to that film in particular as his attorney, especially his sequences in the courtroom, I think really stand out in that film and really allow it to stand apart from other movies from the 90s. And just that film in general, the story it tells and the topic at hand. But for me, this one is The Green Mile. I absolutely love that cast and that collection. And it's a story that I think just hits me in all the right ways and the ways you want a movie to work. I don't want to get too spoilery, but for anybody who hasn't had an opportunity to sit down and watch it, I can't recommend it enough. Even just the idea and the kind of basic underlying understanding of what the Green Mile is and how that functions is the kind of a fascinating thing unto itself, let alone how that ultimately plays into the film. So I love the emotional heartstrings that it pulls at. It's one movie that I sit down every time and get drawn in almost instantly.
Yeah, the 4 or 5 seeds are usually the hardest in the first round, because usually we get 2 really good choices, and it's always tough picking between the 2. This is why I seeded Green Mile slightly above for a lot of the reasons you said. So now I'll put 2 minutes back on the clock. I'm going to go Ryan this time. Ryan, how do you feel about this matchup?
I think this is a really good matchup, actually. I think it's one of the best out there. It's pretty easy for me, though. It's Philadelphia. I'm going to explain why. Green Mile is a wonderful film. Has my favorite composer in it, Thomas Newman, and the cast is one of the best casts out there. cast ensembles out there, in my personal opinion. Did a really good job. And I feel like it rode the coattails of Shawshank Redemption a little too much, especially when it came out. Both of those two came out. But Philadelphia had a story to tell during a really tough time and a controversial time for this topic. I mean, gay rights publicly coming out in the courtroom, within the workplace. That's a big deal. And for myself, when I saw it, I don't know why. I was in Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, one of the two, and I would always see this cover. I was just like, those two alone are going to make me want to rent that. And I did, and I was not prepared. I was really young first, but because I have gay family members, this really spoke to me, and it still speaks to me today. It's a story that needs to be told, and it's very important to me, and I hope it could be very important to other people. I still feel like it's relevant, especially during the political climate that we're in. With other topics, I think it's relevant. This is a movie that stands the test of time, and one of his Oscar performances, in my opinion, the best that he's ever done.
Excellent points there. So right now the panel is split. We got one person for Green Mile, one person for Philadelphia, but let's see how the people vote this one. If you want to vote for the Green Mile, go ahead and do exclamation vote 4 in the chat. If you want to do Philadelphia, do exclamation vote 5. And you know, I got to say, I got to push back a little bit about riding the coattails of Shawshank Redemption. I don't think you can hold that against Frank Darabont, right? It just shows that he's such a good director that he was able to knock it out in that 1-2 punch of Shawshank and Green Mile. So I don't know that I would hold it against him, but to Jay's points, this movie is a very good movie. It's an underrated movie. It's a movie that it sort of gets lost in the lexicon of Tom Hanks movies, for sure. You don't see a whole lot of people talking Green Mile, but a lot of people do have a favorable opinion about it. And Philadelphia, man, that's tough because Philadelphia, it's a great story. Both Denzel and Tom Hanks crush it in the movie. It's a tough watch as far as emotional and meaningful story to tell. Ryan, you make sure you do vote space 5. I don't want you to lose your vote there. So yeah, it's tough, but I think for me, I gotta go Philadelphia. I think what leans me over the edge is the fact that this was a Tom Hanks Oscar-winning performance. So I think that it definitely pushes it over the edge for me. So we'll see. Now, I'm stuck here because I don't know why it didn't register our votes. So we did not get it in time. We have to make sure that next time we stop blabbing our mouths and vote. But that's how it goes sometimes. So this time around, Green Mile is your winner. It's a very close one, 54% of the vote to 46.
And honestly, I'm fine with that. It's a really, really freaking good movie. It's a very good movie.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I know Jay's fine with it. It's something for him to push forward in the next round. All right, so let's go back to our bracket. So Green Mile moving on with 54% of the vote. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. You've got Male and Green Mile. That's quite the matchup there. All right, let's go on to the third one of the first round. The number 3 seed of Forrest Gump going up against the number 6 seed, A League of Their Own. And we are going to start with Ryan on this one. Ryan, 2 minutes on the clock. How do you feel about this? And if you say you like Forrest Gump, I'm kicking you off the stream.
If I vote for Forrest Gump?
Yes.
Okay, first off, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad. Tom Hanks is.
I'm third. I'm number 3.
Second off, A League of Their Own is freaking a classic. It's by far Tom Hanks's best comedy film, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of great ones, but it doesn't really fall under the genre of comedy. You got Money Pit, you got Dragnet, you got all of those. This is superior by far. This is where you get to see him move outside of the Oscar light intentionally, because he took this role first because he's perfect for it. A freaking like a guy who has to look, a washed up baseball player who has to look after all of these women who play baseball. Great movie. If you haven't seen that movie, go and see it. 2020 will be eradicated if you do. But it's freaking Forrest Gump, dude. Not only is it Forrest Gump, but that movie is freaking phenomenal. And in my opinion, Philadelphia, Tom Hanks's performance in Philadelphia is actually better in that movie over than this. But you can't deny that. I mean, he had to be in character the entire time he was narrating. That's pretty freaking good for a Tom Hanks film. And second on, Robert Zemeckis actually knew what the freak he was doing when he did all of this stuff. They were doing innovating stuff when it comes to special effects and also just like dialogue, because this is actually a book. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but they stuck very close to the book and kept the dialogue, which is amazing. Forrest Gump.
Okay, so going Forrest Gump, Jay, or I'm going to put 2 minutes back on the clock. How do you feel Forrest Gump, League of Their Own? And say the right decision, please.
So I'll start by saying this, gentlemen. Let's be careful moving forward with dating ourselves with references like Hollywood Video and Blockbuster.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we lost half of our audience when you said those two words. I don't think they know what that is. But with that out of the way, this is a tough one for me because, again, I love League of Their Own. If anyone had a chance to watch us back when we did the baseball ones, the baseball bracket, I was a huge fan of this and had been for a very long time. But I would say out of this collection of Tom Hanks movies, that might be the movie where he's least involved, in my opinion, where he kind of falls in the backdrop of the women of the film. And so for me, that really hurts him in this regard, especially when you compare it to something like Forrest Gump, where he is unequivocally at the center of the film, from the very beginning when he's sitting on the bench to the very end. So that alone, I think, puts Forrest Gump a step above the League of Their Own. And again, just like what our other panelists were saying, looking at things like CGI and story and just overall, anytime I sit down and watch that movie, I think is when I do fall in love with just a little bit more.
Yeah, I see. The more and more I watch Forrest Gump, the less I like it. And it's not a secret.
Sounds like a personal problem, honestly.
It is a personal problem.
Seriously.
And the problem is that no one else agrees with me. That's the problem. And that's personal to me. Okay. Like the fact, okay.
I mean, there's some things you can't diagnose,
Right. Yeah.
Well, and it clearly seems like you built this show to have people reinforce how you feel about movies, but it's actively gone against you since you started.
That statement could not be further from the truth, or closer to the truth. I mean, 100%. I thought when I developed this show that it would be fun for me, and in fact, every week I hate myself. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's start the voting. If you want to vote for Forrest Gump, do !vote 3. If you want to do a League of Their Own, !vote 6. Remember, there is a space in between the word vote and the number. You did it right because Streamlabs will tell you if your vote counted. I seriously cannot be a hypocrite and vote for Forrest Gump. I am definitely voting A League of Their Own. I think it's one of the best sports movies ever. I think
Agreed.
Look, it may not be one of the best movies ever, but it's certainly in the upper echelon of sports movies, in my opinion. So for me, it's got so much, it's got heart, it's got comedy. And look, I know Forrest Gump has all that stuff. I know he won an Oscar for Forrest Gump. I know all of you people are voting Forrest Gump, but I know at the end of the day, Forrest Gump is winning this whole damn tournament. I understand that. I get that.
I wouldn't have even picked Forrest Gump overall. I will say this about Forrest Gump. The music alone, the soundtrack alone, compared to the music in A League of Their Own, not even comparable.
Okay.
Like that alone.
Okay. Look, I'm not gonna. I will concede to that. I'm not gonna die on that hill of the music for sure. But yeah. So, okay. Time is up. It's wrapped. It's a crushing defeat. 75% of the vote. Forrest Gump. Look, I knew this was going to happen. Forrest Gump, I have a feeling, is going to go very far. Mostly because I think everyone in the chat hates me, and they like to see me in pain and cry. So thank you to all of you.
And yet, Forrest Gump wasn't the 1 seed. That really, I think, speaks to more than anything else.
So no, and look. It's probably my own biases, and that's why I said earlier we're going to have a chance for other people to vote on the seedings going forward. Because I first of all, I don't understand how Saving Private Ryan lost, and I'll be honest, I'm very nervous about the next matchup too. The number 2 seed Apollo 13 going up against the number 7 seed in Sleepless in Seattle. We'll see if everyone in the chat and the panelists here, if Ryan and Jay are way on board with the romantic comedies of Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. So we're gonna start with Jay on this one. I will put 2 minutes on the clock. Jay, Apollo 13, Sleepless in Seattle. How do you feel about this matchup?
So like I said, with that first one for You've Got Mail, with talking about the Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks films, in a lot of ways I almost feel like this was a first draft of what You Got Mail ultimately ended up being. And I only say that because in the middle, I maybe it's just me, but I feel like I get a little lost. All of a sudden I feel like Meg Ryan's motivations just aren't coming through as clear as I would hope. And I don't really understand how she kind of gets from A to B, more specifically when she goes to Seattle and then goes to New York, and kind of the in between there. I always seem to get a little lost there. That's a real struggle for me. So, it's a good movie. It's one that I actually had to go to the drive-in and see over the weekend. I thought that would be a good place for it, but I don't know. It doesn't work for me in the same way a lot of other movies do, especially comparing it to one like You've Got Mail. On the other hand, Apollo 13, it's a story that's, again, I think very compelling to the heart in all the right ways. It's got a fun and interesting cast with Tanks, Kevin Bacon. I apologize, I'm blanking on other guys' names. Maybe we'll be able to come back to me by the time we come back.
Bill Paxton.
Overall, that movie just works a little bit more for me. It's a little bit cleaner, and I think because of all that, it's more enjoyable in the end.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm not going to reveal my thoughts yet, but I'm tending to lean the way Jay's talking right now. Ryan, I'm going to put 2 minutes back on the clock for you. How do you feel about the classic Apollo 13 and the also classic romantic comedy Sleepless in Seattle?
I'm definitely picking up on your propaganda, like your subliminal messages. Pick this or you die, or pick this and I'll be happy with you. So picture this. A film opens up at a graveyard of a father and a son. They're sad, they move on with their life, and then go to the very end, and they're happy. What can be better than that over NASA's problem, an organization that is probably doesn't even exist, and with that, it's a roller coaster of freaking so many different problems. It's something that is going to spiral you into anxiety and insanity the whole time. Wouldn't you rather just sit down and watch the stunning Meg Ryan, and let's face it, the very dashing young Tom Hanks at this time? He has the jawline, and not only that, and Jay and I just don't agree with you, which is okay. Like, she is driven by love. Doesn't matter how she gets there. Harry Connick Jr. transports her through his voice and she hops on a plane. And that's all you need is Harry Connick Jr. music to cover up the fact that you're traveling across the world across the country to go and see somebody. That's what love is all about. That's what you get here. You don't get that on Apollo 13. I'm determined to bring this channel down because Apollo 13 is a better film, but I'm voting Sleepless in Seattle because I want to see head-to-head this versus You've Got Mail, because we didn't see that earlier. Everybody vote for what I'm saying.
Okay, so I'm glad that you actually don't believe anything you're saying. It's just the fact that you want complete anarchy to happen, which is
this is actually a really hard decision for me because Sleepless in Seattle honestly is one of my all-time favorites, but Apollo 13 is super classic. So
yeah,
I'm flipping a coin at this point.
Yeah. If you want to vote for Apollo 13, exclamation vote 2. If you want to vote Sleepless in Seattle, exclamation vote 7 in the chat. Now look, I'm very heavily leaning to what Jay said. Sleepless in Seattle to me, as I know that it's a classic film, but it never really hit me as much. And I gotta say, and I know we'll get to it later, but when I saw You Got Mail, I never really needed to see Sleepless in Seattle again. It's definitely the superior of the Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan films. But you know, Apollo 13 is an all-time classic film. What's better than starting a movie at a graveyard? Being in space. I mean, that's the clear response to that. I've no idea.
It doesn't start in space. It starts with a bunch of people burning to death.
Okay. I mean, granted, yes. I mean, there is a burning scene, but it's character building. You know, like it's totally fine. It's better than just being on the phone half the time, like what, you know, calling in a radio program. Like, that's boring. No, I'm sorry. I'll take Apollo 13. Jay, back me up on this one.
Well, I agree with you 100%, but I think more than anything, I'm excited. I got one question for our panelists. A, what would you consider the soundtrack of your life if you want to have justify Meg Ryan's motivation through Harry Connick Jr.? And two, or B, you know, I'm excited for your video tomorrow where you highlight all the reasons Sleepless in Seattle is obviously, clearly better than You've Got Mail. So,
look, first of all, I'm glad Sleepless in Seattle has lost. Okay, I'm good. I'm glad that the efforts of Ryan did not, you know, subvert my expectations on this one.
In the chat. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in these trolls.
No.
You had an opportunity to troll. No, our host here.
They're fine. They
didn't take it.
They did a good job this time. Okay, like I was a little upset.
They've already sent Forrest Gump through, and when it wins, they'll be pissed off more than
I know. That's true. That's true. You know, for the morning show tomorrow morning, guys, I might do a whole hour on why Forrest Gump sucks. If it wins the whole thing, okay, that might be what I have to do. Okay, but let's
just add fuel to the fire there.
Right? Yeah, seriously. But although. Oh God. Okay. I don't even want that. The rest of this tournament is so crazy to me. So here is what I am not a toxic man baby. Okay. It's fine. I just have an opinion you don't agree with. Here's the semifinals. Okay. The number 8 seed, You've Got Mail, going up against the number seed, the 4 seed, The Green Mile. And then the second matchup is going to be the number 3 seed, Forrest Gump, going up against the number 2 seed, Apollo 13. But before we do, I just want to take a quick second to let you guys know on how you can help me seed going forward. Okay. I know that everyone likes to dog on me about the seedings, which is totally fine. But now I'm putting it up to you guys to decide exactly what the seedings are. So next week's show, and we're going to have a bracket reveal tomorrow because we've had this since bracket reveal on Friday. So tonight is the last night that you can vote on this next week's show, which is DC Origin Films. Okay. If you want to go fill out the poll, just go down here, rank.fanjecture.com. Do it now, do it later, just do it tonight, do it before tomorrow. Today's the last day to do it. I'll do that one more time for you. Rank.fanjecture.com. You guys can go and rank the DC Origin films, which is what we're doing next week. So go ahead. You can do that at your leisure. But in the meantime, let's get to a unlikely matchup for the second round. Number 8 seed, You've Got Mail, going up against the number 4 seed, The Green Mile. Ryan, we're going to start with you on this one. I think I know which way you're going, but tell everybody how you feel about this matchup.
How about you tell me what you think I'm gonna do first?
I think that you're going to troll everyone and have them say you got mail, but deep down inside, I think that's actually what you really want.
You've Got Mail is super low for me. Even though I really like it, I enjoy it, sure, but it is very low. It's obviously Green Mile. For me, Tom Hanks, only because Brutal just so happens to be one of my favorite fictional characters in cinema. I don't know why. I just freaking love him. So I hate when I see that he plays a bad guy. Yeah, and Barry, I mean, again, it's one of the greatest ensemble casts in cinema, in my opinion. You got Barry Pepper, Tom Hanks, you've got Sam Rockwell, you've got freaking, I mean, Michael Clark Duncan does an amazing job in that movie. It's a freaking not star-studded cast, and I feel like that's the key with this movie. They all do really, really well together in this film. That's why I love this movie, is because of the dynamic that everybody has with everybody in The Green Mile. It has a great soundtrack to it. Thomas Newman is, again, one of my all-time favorites. And the reason for that is because it's a very emotional movie, and the director did a really good job at reaching out to Thomas Newman and say, you need to make this really emotional. Because that's what his music is all about. It hits pretty much every note that the movie intends to hit, and it hits it twice as hard.
Yeah, look, I can't disagree. I can't disagree with what you're saying here about Green Mile. It's such a good movie, and it's so underrated. Let's put 2 minutes back on the clock. All right, Jay, make your case for You've Got Mail or The Green Mile.
So for starters, with The Green Mile, I think, like, I would, echo the sentiments of our other panelists in that it's just a beautiful film. I think that the cast as a whole is strong. The performances throughout absolutely 100% work. It's a story that's, I think, very clean, very concise. And one thing that really works for me in particular is Hanks's relationship and on-screen chemistry with Michael Duncan. I think those two together are phenomenal. And it's a very hard film to talk about without getting too heavy into the spoilers. So I will say, if you haven't seen this movie, but it hasn't been ruined for you yet, I cannot recommend it enough. But with all that being said, I'm a You've Got Mail kind of guy. For all the reasons I mentioned before, talking about the last little sequence and in general, it just works for me. It hits me in all the right ways. But I also love this film because of the David and Goliath element to it as well. When you look at the two competing bookstores, and you ultimately realize that that's only a setup for a more emotional back-end love story. And I love that about that film, that they were able to weave those two narratives together in a way that worked and felt clean, and just creates for an enjoyable story overall.
Man, I gotta say, Jay, I'm feeling Jay tonight, right? Jay is actually saying a lot of the stuff that I'm feeling. You've got, man,
cool. Screw you, Adam.
Yeah,
Whatever.
well, all right. Yeah, that's cool. Ready? See ya. Okay. Look, let me put up the poll now, and then I'll give my opinion, because I'm feeling what Jay's putting down here. Okay, if you want to vote for You've Got Mail, exclamation vote 8. If you want to vote for The Green Mile, exclamation vote 4. So I was going over the chat. I was seeing what everyone was saying. Green Mile, I believe, is going to win this vote, just based on what everyone's saying. So because Green Mile is probably going to win this vote, let me go ahead and give... Oh, Maybe not. Oh, we shall see. Okay. All right. Hold on. I got to give my vote real quick. I do. You got mail. Got to add to that.
Why do you do that? Why do you do
I don't
that?
know.
As
I
soon
really
as you say, I believe it's gonna win.
No, because
everyone's like, all right, let's just change the game.
Honestly,
change it.
I'm not even joking. I was reading it and everyone's like, it's Green Mile, and I guess all the people who wanted You Got Mail were
Trinity in there has an itchy trigger finger. I know he does. He's waiting for you, and he's gonna pounce.
I know, but look at this. Green Mile is making a late surge here, making a comeback for sure. Okay. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, well, Trinity said he hasn't seen You've Got Mail. Trinity, here's what I will say to you. On a Friday night, okay? Not Friday night, because you do Trailer Park Live. On a Saturday night, put the kids to bed, make a nice bowl of popcorn, pop in You've Got Mail, and have a nice romantic evening with the missus, okay? I'm telling you.
It's a great date night film. Like, there are a few better movies that are, unless you want to sit and watch The Notebook, and if you're about that, then more power to you.
Absolutely not. And yeah, I have so much more to say about this film, and I'm so happy that I get to in the next round. You've Got Mail has become one of my horses in the race, and by the slimmest of margins, You've Got Mail, the number 8 seed, has made it through to the finals. Man, maybe I am liking the chat tonight. Although I have a feeling I know which one's going to win in the next one, and then it's going to be an effing battle at the end for sure. Okay, so with 53% of the vote, the number 8 seed, You've Got Mail, is moving on. Okay, let me close out this poll. Go to the bracket. Okay, man, You've Got Mail making it all the way through. Okay, I'm happy about this. I can live with this one. Let's now go to our second matchup of the first round, or the second round. Number 3 seed Forrest Gump going up against the number 2 seed Apollo 13. 2 minutes on the clock. Jay, we're going to start with you. This might be a tough one. I think I know how the chat's going, but these are really both. Look, I know I give Forrest Gump a lot of crap, but I admittedly will say I know it's a good movie. But is it better than Apollo 13? What do you think, Jay?
So for Apollo 13, again, I didn't get a chance to highlight him before, but guys like Bill Paxton, Kevin Bacon, Tom Hanks, that kind of core crew that ultimately goes into space, and I think really do a great job on screen, and the chemistry that they have really works to make for an enticing and enjoyable film. And then when you look at the crew on the ground, highlighted by Ed Harris, an incredible actor, very much in charge of that room from the get-go. The minute he puts on that vest is very much his team, his crew. In a lot of ways, I think, honestly, his mission, especially when things go south. So that creates for him a very enjoyable story, one that's compelling, one that is very enticing, and there's a lot of drama. Especially if you aren't familiar with this story in any way, I think that it creates for a lot of suspense and does that in a way that really works. But it's got to be Forrest Gump for me. And rewatching this movie a couple days ago, one thing that really stood out for me, maybe on this viewing more than others, had to be Robin Wright and her role for this film. I think when you look at Forrest Gump and kind of his journey over the course of his life, obviously there are a lot of things that are just kind of brought about that he literally walks into. But I think at the core of that, what Robin Wright brings to the screen and their relationship very much propels him forward. And I really think that just elevates this movie one step above Apollo 13.
Okay, so Jay has love for Forrest Gump, so obviously this is the last appearance for Jay. So 2 minutes on the clock for Ryan. Let's see if Ryan comes back to the show ever. Ryan, Forrest Gump or Apollo 13?
Can I still vote for Sleepless in Seattle?
No.
All right, so I was trying to think of what would come down to it, like, and I know this isn't like the finals or anything, but I was thinking genuinely what would be the finals for me, and it probably would have been Saving Private Ryan, Forrest Gump and Apollo 13 head to head, and I had to bump out Saving Private Ryan, even though it is one of my favorite films of all time. These two, as a Tom Hanks movie, like films, this is where he shines. This is like quintessential 90s Tom Hanks. These two movies. I don't have to repeat myself on that. But while I was just like sitting here this whole time, I'm gonna have to go with Apollo 13 because, and it surprises me because it's not as heavy Tom Hanks in comparison to Forrest Gump, but as a movie in a whole, in comparison, I feel like it's a better movie than Forrest Gump because it's action packed. It's a true story, which is great. I mean, Forrest Gump has some of those in there, but this is a true story. It's very inspiring. It's talking about people coming together all around the world, even to help these people, and again with an amazing ensemble of people in this film. Apollo 13 is the clincher for me, which surprises me.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So you are invited back. Thank you, Ryan. I
don't
appreciate
care.
that. Okay. Well then, you're canceled. Okay. Let's get to the vote. I don't know. I really, honestly, I don't know how this is gonna go. If I'm gonna make a prediction right now, I think Forrest Gump's gonna win. I know everyone's got love for this movie.
I probably agree.
So let's find out what the people want to say. If you want to vote for Forrest Gump, do exclamation vote 3 in the chat. If you want to vote Apollo 13, do exclamation vote 2 in the chat. I am going to do exclamation vote 2 right now because then I want to discuss with you why you should be voting for this movie. Okay. First of all, you want to talk about music. I know you brought up music of Forrest Gump before. Let's talk about James Horner. Okay, one of the greatest composers. James Horner did the music for this great soundtrack. And let's talk about the cinematography in this movie. This movie was beautiful. Apollo 13 is a beautiful movie. You know why? Because it was the DP was Dean Cundley. Does that
Dean? That's right.
Yeah. Does that ring a bell for you? I know, Ryan, it should for you because Jurassic Park, Back to the Future. Hook. What else did he do? I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but those are like some big time, especially around
that you need so far.
Yeah. So there you go. So, but it clearly doesn't matter. The fact that this is a better, superior film, in my opinion, is not going to do it tonight. It looks like Forrest Gump. The people are speaking. Look, this is the second time Forrest Gump is like just crushing through the bracket. Jay, man, people are loving Forrest Gump. Man. Okay, so time is up. 68% of the vote. That's a pretty high margin, especially for tonight. So at 68%, Forrest Gump is moving on. Let's look at the bracket. Let me complete that. Okay. Here we go. We are at the finals. The number 8 seed made it all the way to the finals. You've Got Mail will now go up against the number 3 seed, Forrest Gump. Okay. This is it. This is for all the marbles. 2 minutes on the clock. We're going Ryan on this one. How do you feel? You've Got Mail, Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Next question.
Okay. Why?
No, I mean, Forrest Gump, I'm going to talk about all the things that I didn't because I've stayed away from this film. And sure, I'll talk about Forrest Gump because it's a great movie. It was a movie that made me realize how cool storytelling can be within film. History telling, I should say, because he kind of it's almost like it's a spiritual walk through our own American history. It's very cool. It's like Tom Hanks. Forrest is our guide, and we're all taking a spiritual walk to see how much we progressed, degressed, and what we can expect in the future. It goes through the 3 decades of our American history very well. I think it hits on some of the most important things that are still super relevant today that we should probably be looking at. This is not my platform to make those kind of talks, but go and watch it if you haven't, because like maybe right now isn't as freaking messed up as we think, or it could get worse. Forrest Gump teaches us the morals. You've Got Mail is great. It's a fun time. It's funny. It's quippy. It's very well dialogued out. I would even say a lot more fun than Forrest Gump, but there's a lot more attention to detail with history, with performance, with special effects with Forrest Gump, and I think it did it really freaking well. A well-deserved Best Picture, in my opinion, even though I don't really care about those things.
Okay, I disagree with that, but that's fine, and I will get to why I disagree with that in a second. Jay, the floor is yours. You've Got Mail versus Forrest Gump. How do you feel about it?
So I do agree in that when you look at something like Forrest Gump, the way it works through a man's life, and like he was saying, over really the course of a portion of American history, it really highlights some of those moments in a very meaningful and impactful way. I think what really separates Forrest Gump apart from other movies is just how he gets there. And I know we brought it up before, how he literally walks into some of these situations, walks into these scenarios, and pivotal areas and locations for these moments in time. I think that's what really makes Forrest Gump such an enjoyable film. That for as much structure as it clearly has, when you look at somebody like Forrest and how he gets from the start of his life to ultimately in the end, there really isn't any structure to that at all. And that really is what makes that film so beautiful. But for me, when you look at You've Got Mail, the reason that film resonates with me maybe more than a lot of others, I love the payoff for that film. And I think the big reason behind that is when Hanks finds out who Ryan is, we get that early enough in the film that the last 20 minutes, last half hour, or whatever it is, I think is a really meaningful and enjoyable payoff. We get to see Tom really try to work for that forgiveness, really try to create a relationship with Meg that he thinks can ultimately be lasting outside of the one they built online. And I love that about that movie. I think that last 20 minutes, last half hour is maybe some of the best in Tom Hanks' career.
Yeah. I got thoughts, but let's do it. This is the finals. This is for the winner of tonight's bracket. Here's the poll. If you want to vote for You've Got Mail, do vote 8. If you want to vote for Forrest Gump, do vote 3. I'm going You've Got Mail. Okay. A couple things, right? 2 words. First of all, Dave Chappelle. Okay, Dave Chappelle is funny as hell in this movie. This movie is smart. It's witty. It's very quick with the lines. The whole like mistaken identity, not even mistaken identity, like hidden identity, a threat. And I don't want to give it away because I know I want some people to go watch this movie. That the identity that's hidden throughout the whole thing, it plays so well, and it's just such a good love story. It's getting crushed. Okay, and here's my beef with Forrest Gump. Okay, look, I know people don't really care about awards. I get that, and I know Ryan has just said that he doesn't care about awards. The fact that Forrest Gump won Best Picture over Shawshank Redemption in that year is a travesty for humankind forever and ever, and I will never get over it. And maybe that is my deep-rooted, seated hatred, not hatred, but just like it irks me to my core. Shawshank Redemption is the way better film. If we had to put up Shawshank Redemption against Forrest Gump, you'd be voting for Shawshank Redemption, which is exactly why Forrest Gump is not the movie. But it does not matter because everybody who has ever come to my show loves Forrest Gump for some inexplicable reason. So the number 3 seed Forrest Gump with a massive 79% of the vote is our winner tonight. Forrest Gump, the number 3 seed, is our winner. Gentlemen, look, at the end of the day, I know I'm loud about it. It's not my favorite movie, but there could be worse movies in the world, I suppose, that win. Ryan, how do you feel about our winner for tonight, Forrest Gump? Good choice by the people trolling me. Is that the only reason it won?
It's the only reason why I show up here.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
I'm just kidding. I will actually say this, though. Even though Forrest Gump is a great movie, I can see why it won Best Picture. But Shawshank Redemption, in my opinion, is by far a better movie. It just hits all of those notes. I mean, it does the special effects. It does all the thing the Academy wants and everything.
Yeah.
That is one of the movies that I'm bitter. But if anything had to beat it out, sure, Forrest Gump. So am I happy tonight? Yeah, I'd say 80% okay
80%.
Because Saving Private Ryan really is the greatest movie
right
here, and I'm not gonna whine about it. Yeah,
I wasted a background. I wasted a background on a number 1 seed that got bumped out in the first round.
Such an expensive background.
God, it's cost me so much money. All right, Jay, percentage happiness tonight on Forrest Gump, the winner. We got 80 for Ryan. What are you at?
So I'd say I'm 100% happy.
Okay.
And really that just goes back to my comments before. That's not even necessarily because Forrest Gump won, but just the fact that we got to match up 8 Tom Hanks movies. That's a win. You just can't go wrong. No matter who ended up winning, we all win in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you both for hanging out tonight. This was a blast. I didn't expect it to go this way, but it was so much fun. Jay's got a channel, a YouTube channel. Of course, as always, links are always in the description below. But Jay, go ahead, tell everybody who might be new to you all about your channel here.
So for anyone who doesn't know, my big thing is I try to do film reviews in 60 seconds or less. I'm hoping to expand the plethora of things I do on my channel. Again, if anyone has an opportunity to watch me on this show before, they would have noticed that I had a plain, boring white backdrop. That was because I was literally sitting in the back of a closet, but I have upgraded. I finally have my own studio space. I got a hold up about a week and a half ago. You can already tell we've got some new lighting going on here. So I'm hoping to build this out. If nothing else, stop by and see how this ever evolves.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, man. And Ryan,
I'm gonna say, Jay, it looks pretty fresh over there.
Stepping it up. I like it. Ryan, tell everybody about Nerdy Blurb TV. Or not.
We do nothing at all. We don't do anything over there. We pretend like we're a YouTube channel, but we're not. We're just no, we're kicking something off hopefully next week. We're going to be talking about aliens, Bigfoot, conspiracies, a lot of stuff. Don't know why, but it is something that has been going around in my life right now, and we have a lot of fun things to say. We talk about it, we debate about it. I have different views than my co-host does, and we sit and try and convert each other to our own true beliefs.
Yep.
A lot of them would surprise you. Bigfoot, real? Maybe. Who knows? Aliens, real? Yeah, but freaking they're not like probing us. I don't think so. I don't think they are.
Well, it's no fun if you agree. Obviously, clearly of this show, if nothing else, I've learned that if you can have a fun discussion about it, it's better when people don't agree, for sure. Well, both of you, thank you so much for hanging out. I know I'm going to get both of you back again down the road, so it's always a pleasure having you guys come on and debate. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you much. Fun. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's always fun debating with these guys. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up, hit that share button. That share button works way better than the thumbs up button, trust me. So thank you for watching. Come back next week for DC Origin Films. Have a good evening.